Going live. And it's tense when we go live. Everyone starts putting their game face on. You guys are awesome. And all right, let us admit whatever audience we have here. Hello, people. As you start coming in, welcome to the show. We've got an unsavory cast of characters in front of you. If you look over there, yes, the unsavory people are already nodding their heads. We're going to give you guys just a couple of seconds to connect. Welcome to Pop-Up Comedy Show. This is an awesome, awesome event. We hope you guys are really going to enjoy yourselves. We've got, just a magnificent show lineup for you. And we could not think of a better way to greet the impending weekend. Are we all excited about the weekend? I think it's going to be a majorly exciting weekend. This is an odd week for me because there's just like so many things in a row that happen. This is my birthday weekend. It's also my anniversary weekend.
My friend Stuart.
Yeah, and your friend Stuart can hear you, which is why I'm going to mute you. But it's my birthday weekend, and it's my anniversary weekend. And then also, in a really exciting turn of events, it's actually the anniversary of the first time I ever got engaged. And I got engaged at the ripe old age of 17. You cannot get engaged at 17. And I was married the first time at 18. And you do not want to be married at 18. You do not have the life experience to be married at 18. Let me put it to you this way. At my bachelor party, we played Dungeons and Dragons. That's a poor life decision right there. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, on Saturday night, I'm a ninth level paladin, and Sunday I'm a husband. No, that's not how this shit should work. It's a bad move is what I'm saying. But we are here, and we're here in the age of Corona. And here's the whole thing about the age of Corona that I have to just really, and this really excites me about where we are right now in the age of Corona. Because I don't know how you guys had people in life, but I had a lot of older people in my life growing up, and they used to tell me how hard their life was. And I could never relate because my life was pretty easy. I grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and it was really easy for me going on. But my parents, my grandparents, the older people in my life, they would have these stories. Like my great-grandmother used to talk about living through the pandemic. We just did all our shit in 1 year. That's what we decided to do. We decided to throw all the shittiness of a lifetime in 1 year. Like, pandemic? Check. What's that? Economic crash? Check. What's that? Social unrest of the 60s? Check. We got it all in just one shot. Even the immigrant parents that are coming over. Oh, you lived under an oppressive dictator? Check. We got it all. It just one lump sum. We just saved it all for 1 year. So that when we have our own kids and grandkids, and they come up to us and they go, oh man, your life wasn't so bad. We just turned to them one, I lived through 2020, fucker. And just, you walked away. That's a mic drop moment. Do you know what I'm saying? I lived through 2020, fucker. And you drop the mic. Here's what I feel sorry for. Because I do think that 2021 is going to be better than 2020, but somebody is going to be the last person to die in 2020. I know that's a morbid thought, but somebody somewhere will be the last human being to die in 2020. And that person's got to be thinking, you couldn't have taken me back in February. You couldn't have taken me before it got shitty. I had to live through all this. Really? Because that's what's going to happen. What else can we talk about here? There's an awful lot of craziness going on. The Republican National Convention is going on right now, which is a great time. You should tune in because every speech's a hate speech. It's an amazing thing. It is the most amazing group of people I've ever seen. Have you looked at the people that are speaking at the Republican National Convention? I'm not quite sure if it's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or Lord of the Flies. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's one of those two. But I do expect any minute, Mike Pence to turn and go, this is Dr. Casey. the famous Dr. Casey. That's happening any moment now, is what I'm talking about. And I also do think that Nurse Ratchet's going to show up and give us all a rectal exam for no apparent reason. But that's, that'll mean 2020 is on an uptick. All right. So let me explain to the two grayed out boxes that are just here to listen to the show what's happening. We have got a wonderful array of talent. In all these other boxes, these are wonderful people who are just dying to perform for you. And we are going to get them up and we are going to let them speak and we're going to have so much fun listening and watching this. And we are going to start things off with a very funny man. You know him from the center box. He is currently chewing on his knuckles right now. Put your hands together for Cats. Just Cats, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, what's going on, guys? Are you having fun? I know I'm not. I mean, I'm trapped in a box surrounded by God knows who. I don't know these people very well. So, okay. So, back when we used to go to restaurants, do you remember those? Like they used to serve like most salads with the dressing on the side, which is very nice, very nice. Except for the Caesar salad. The Caesar salad comes fully prepared from the back. Like we're some kind of royalty that we can't bother to prepare our own salad for us. But I can't really tell if that's just like some kind of homage that I'm not familiar with, or if it's just one last, twist of the knife. Et tu, Fridays? Et tu? Speaking of salads, I heard this recently on one of those talk shows that today's generation, not today's, but the younger generation, because everyone's younger than I am, they view second base a little differently than I did when I was a kid. it's they eat ass. They consider that second base. What happened? What's third base? I have no, just eating ass is second base now. When I was their age, I wouldn't even eat my vegetables. And I don't know. That's just something for you to chew on. You're welcome. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like there's, it's just, excuse me, I gotta wash that out. It's just, ugh, sorry. I just felt nasty coming out of my mouth for some reason. So in all this time, like I found the weirdest thing ever. Something super crazy, in my opinion. It's really crazy. Some toy companies have hired a 4-year-old to be their toy critic. And I know, like, what you're thinking. It makes sense. They're the ones who play with it. They should give us the input. What kind of input are they really going to give us? This car's blue. I don't like blue. This one Transformer was pretty nice, but the wheels tasted kind of funny. And if things didn't get worse, do you know how much they're paying this kid? $20 million.
Woo!
Let me say that again so it sinks in and resonates with you. $20 million to play with toys. Who signed off on that contract? Did they read the art of the deal? I can't imagine the owner of that company just being okay with it. But no matter what, I can guarantee you that it was a man who did all this, because most likely, if it was a female, Madeline, just for you, like negotiating this contract, she would have just like, hey, how about we just give you an extra slice of cake? All right. That's all I'm going to bore you with tonight. So thanks very much, guys. Enjoy.
Woohoo! That was Cats, ladies and gentlemen. Cats, just Cats. Are we excited?
Yes.
Yes, I think we should all be excited. Cats was talking about eating ass, which is apparently something that people talk about now. I don't know if you remember, if you're of a certain age, there was a time when there were just some things that you kept to yourself. Do you know what I mean? You might have done them. You might have been the freakiest son of a bitch, but you kept it to yourself. And here's why. Because you just wanted to have something shocking at your funeral. That's the only reason why we didn't talk about any of this stuff. We enjoyed all the freakiness of everyone else, but we just wanted, like when your uncle died and you were cleaning out his belongings and you're there like, holy shit, is this a bondage paddle? You wanted that moment that you could just bond with the rest of your family at nighttime. All right, so we are going to continue. We've got a very funny man to bring to the stage, although I'm looking for him, and there you are. You are going to absolutely love him. Put your hands together. Help me welcome Franz Kayo. Franz Kayo.
That was for Isabel. So thank you very much. Cats, very hard to follow you talking about eating ass, but I'll do my best. So black athletes yesterday decided that Nikki Haley was wrong, and that there is just a little bit of racism. So the Milwaukee Bucks decided that they were going to boycott their game and not show up on court. And then their opponent actually backed them so that the game wouldn't be forfeited. And then all the other NBA games were all postponed or boycotted, actually. They were boycotted. And then the WNBA, they boycotted all their games. And the Milwaukee Brewers, fucking baseball, which are like 9% black now, mostly Latino, also boycotted their game. And it was a movement, except for whitest sport out there next to curling decided to keep playing their games. And it's not like anyone noticed because no one's watching that shit anyway. Have you seen their ratings? And they're stuck up there in Canada. So the United And I keep on thinking that the NBA had actually, if the NBA had actually given any type of warning, then NASCAR would have happily fulfilled the void. Would have done a special event just to commemorate all their fellow people that just want athletes to shut up and dribble. And I could see it now. We could Tucker Carlson saying, "Gentlemen, start your engines." I could see Megyn Kelly waving the checker flag at the end. I could see special guest commentator Kyle, the 17-year-old militia boy. And I was sitting there thinking about Kyle and the fact that he had, I thought, an AK-47, but no, it's an AR-15 that he was walking around with. And my friend from Texas said, Franz, how do you not know the difference between an AK-47 and an AR-15? I live in Texas. Those shits are sold in Walmart next to the socks. And so I was thinking about it, and even though all of this is going on, I was very happy to find out that the RNC has been taking my advice and have gotten themselves a lot of new Black friends. But not LeBron James. They are very upset with LeBron James. They want Negroes in suits and playing sports that they enjoy, like golf or fencing. Basketball's a little too Black for them. I heard today that Jared Kushner actually said that the boycotts were downright absurd and silly, and that the NBA players are fortunate to be able to have jobs that allow them to take the day off. Because as we all know, we're in the middle of the worst fucking recession since the Great Depression, so we all should be happy to have jobs. Thanks for all the work you're doing on the COVID and the economic policies so that we can all be jealous of fucking LeBron James. So, but the other Black people they did invite, they invited Tim Scott, the wonderful only Black Republican senator, to the RNC. And he was touting how proud he was that his family in one generation went from picking cotton to the Senate, which means that he doesn't have any grudges against people like Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas, who said that it was just a necessary evil that Black people were brought here as slaves to build America into a great country. And my warning to Tim Scott is that with more stuff like this and more people like Tom Cotton and Trump, you might be going from one generation back to picking cotton in no time at all. Herschel Walker also there, the great running back, who said in his 37 years of friendship from Donald Trump, he knows that he's not a racist because he grew up in the deep, deep South and went to the University of Georgia, and he knows a racist when he sees one because Donald has never been convicted of hanging anyone. Vernon Jordan, the Democrat, he was at the RNC because a lot of Republicans went to the Democratic National Convention, so they dug up Vernon Jordan. And Vernon Jordan said that he grew up as a Democrat, but he voted for George W. Bush. After being a lifelong Democrat, he was breaking his chains and was going to become a Republican. And all I could think about was, why are all these Black people making all these slavery references at the RNC? So that on Twitter, the name Uncle Tom was actually trending. Even white folks were calling Black people Uncle Toms. Whoa. A word. And to think about it, I was just like, what should woke white folks be able to call Black people who, I don't know, betray their entire race? I'll leave that for you to figure it out, my friend. But some of them argued, they were just like, you guys don't know your history. Uncle Tom was the hero of Uncle Tom's Cabin. He saved 3 slave women from getting caught when they ran away, and he took that beating for them. And all I could think of was either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. Also, the title of the Kanye West story. Got it. What if Kanye West had actually died after he said that George Bush doesn't love black people or doesn't care about black people? Will we be having holidays celebrated after him? Will we have done street and the roads named after him like Kobe Bryant? But last but not least, I was thinking that maybe we could just not let the white people not call these people Uncle Toms and follow their favorite black advocate, Terry Crews. Let's reimagine the word coon. Control our own negativity. He said that can be a positive word, and the RNC could keep it trending. Trump and Mike Pence can make it popular. Hellman and a swagger. Thank you and have a good night.
Franz Kyle, ladies and gentlemen. Franz Kyle. Oh, it's an exciting time at the RNC, is it not? I believe they are digging up Robert Byrd to speak tonight because they wanted another Democrat, and he's got those clown roots, you know. So even though he's been dead for 14 years, he's slated. He's in the 9 o'clock slot, and Herman Cain, who by the way got the award for the most active Twitter account of all dead people. He is currently out tweeting Tupac, which is awesome. We are going to continue now, ladies and gentlemen, with a very funny young lady who is turning this into an international show, is what she's doing, because she is performing all the way from Montreal, Canada. Put your hands together and help me welcome Ms. Dina Bakowitz. Dina Bakowitz!
Hi, everyone. So I'm white. Now, I am woke, but what happens if I actually have an uncle named Tom? I'm not saying I do, I'm saying what if I do? And meanwhile, Franz has given us another C word that we can't use. I'm just gonna add that to the list of C words I hate. I realize also, as a white person, I'm sitting on a couch covered in a white sheet. I'm not racist. I'm a germaphobe. And I'm Jewish. And I'm at an Airbnb. And the decor is for shit. Just don't like the color of the couch. Don't read anything else into it. So I moved from New York City to a different country. Damn those hockey players, seriously. I don't know if I'm allowed to criticize hockey while I'm on Canadian soil, but I'll take my chances. They may come to get me. I'm actually in quarantine. So when you arrive in Canada from anywhere, the government requires you to quarantine, technically for 14 days, but in Canadian, it feels a lot longer. And you have to check in every day and let them know where you are and how you're feeling and that you haven't left. And I've been the dutiful good girl. I call in, but I think if I don't call in, they'll show up. And I'm really bored and lonely. I think I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind and like not call in for a few days and be like, hi, I've been waiting for you. Where were you? I'm so lonely. I'm fine. I'm not sick. I'm just really lonely. But one of the things that's happening in quarantine, yay, is and you really like you're not allowed to leave. You can't go for a walk. You can't go down the stairs. You know, fortunately, I have short legs. I can just walk back and forth a lot and get my steps in that way. but there's construction going on in the apartment above me, and the walls are paper thin. So at first I thought, okay, how do I get them to stop? So I started playing polka music, but that just gave me a headache. Then I thought, well, you know what? There's some Canadians that are not all that friendly towards Americans. So I played God Bless America. It worked a little bit. Then I just started screaming and singing. And if you've ever heard an angry, off-key Jewish woman trying to pitch Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin, I gave myself a migraine. So I started stomping on the floor. I hurt my hip. I pounded the wall. I hurt my wrist. I was like, I'm really too old to try to be breaking down walls, metaphorically or figuratively. I don't know. Maybe metaphorically breaking down walls, but not so much physically. So then you have to call in for the quarantine. And the 3 questions are you having trouble breathing? And I said, yes. Because all the stress from the construction and the singing to try to get them to stop, I'm out of breath. Then they ask you, do you have a headache? And I said, yes, from the hammering and the pounding and the drilling and the welding. Okay, which normally would kind of be fun. I do have a hunky construction worker fantasy. I'm made out to flash dance just like every other girl. Welders are sexy. But it wasn't that kind of construction. And then they said, do you have a sore throat? And I said, yes, from screaming at the top of my lungs, shut the fuck up! I got them to stop. The government hasn't come to take me away yet. But I will say this, just before I left New York, and I texted one of my friends, I'd really love to see you. And she texted back, she says, I can't tomorrow, but I know your days are numbered. How's next week? I was like, I'm only leaving New York. I'm not dying. It just feels like it. So that's a really depressing way to end a comedy set. I'm going to find a therapist now. That's my time. I have 10 more days in quarantine. Good luck to you all. Come visit me.
All right. Keep them going, Dina. Clap for Dina. Woo! All right. So, man, 14 days without ever leaving your house. Like, because we think quarantine's bad here in New York, but 14 days without ever leaving the apartment. I would need so many more porn subscriptions in order to do that. I don't think with my existing accounts I could do that, because every once in a while I just need to go outside and look at something. Kind of clearing the palate is what I'm talking about. All right, we're going to continue with another very funny man, and consequently he is the only one performing in front of a brick wall. Put your hands together. Help me welcome John G. John G, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everybody. Maybe I should sit up for this. I don't know. I was kind of laying down there. So, did you know, the whole quarantine thing, you know, I'm sure everybody's come to like all these realizations and stuff, but it really just kind of shocked me. Like, for the most part, I used to think that people, like, I love people, but I thought being around people was a pain in the ass. Like, and I always wanted that time alone. And now I've realized that I actually really love people. There's just, I think I've almost gone completely insane with the amount of time I've spent by myself. And you know that because you start looking for people and you start looking at like your interaction with the janitor, you know, at the supermarket is actually like an important interaction. You want to know how many times he swept the floor, and you know what other things did he have to clean up? Spill on aisle 5. Oh, what's the spill on aisle 5? You know, you know, and you start making up things like, you know, like when you get depressed and stuff, and you're at home. Like I live by myself now, right, in a studio apartment. And like after I've got up and talked myself into a reason to get out of bed, then I would actually like turn around and make the bed. And the reason why I would make the bed is not because I wanted to get into a bed with clean sheets or anything. It was because I was trying to convince myself that I might bring somebody home with me that night. and you know, I wanted them not to think I was freaky, you know? And you know, there's a whole bunch of other things you do in the apartment for the same damn reason, right? Like realistically, like I'm not a germaphobe, I'm not a clean freak, I don't have that OCD stuff or anything. But like, you know, after a month of not cleaning the toilet, you scrub the toilet because you're afraid somebody else might be there to use it, you know? Or, you know, like I hadn't washed the shower curtain in a long time, you know? So I actually took the shower curtain down the other day and washed it and cleaned it and put it back up because who knows who's going to come over and take a shower? Oh, man, you know? And then, you know, like I live in this apartment building, you know, there's multiple floors with elevators and stuff. And for the apartments, they have like these shopping carts so that when you go to the supermarket, you can put the stuff in the shopping cart and bring it up to your apartment, right? And, you know, mind you, I'm not really buying much to take up and down, but I use the shopping cart because I get to go back outside and take it back downstairs and hope I run into somebody while I'm turning it in. So I get to talk to somebody. Now, outside the apartment, right, there's actually this space, you know, there's actually space where people walk their dogs, right, in the backyard. They have like a dog run thing. And I go out there and I walk myself so that I can run into the people walking the dogs, you know, and I pet the dogs, which I'm not even really a huge dog fan. I mean, I don't hate dogs or animals. I don't have one. I don't ever want one. But I go out there and pet the dog so I can talk to somebody. Oh, man. You know, I had a heart attack last year. I know that's not great for a comedy show, but, you know, I lived. I'm still here. We're going, you know. But I actually decided I would start taking up smoking because I got to go out front and stand in the smoking area with everybody outside the apartment so that I could talk to them while I was smoking. And you know what? The other thing about smoking is kind of funny. Have you ever seen somebody try to smoke with a mask on? Where they take the mask and they kind of pull it to the side and they're trying to like smoke the cigarette? Like, it brings a whole lot of other questions in mind, smoking and vaping and all those kind of things. Does Corona live in smoke? So could secondhand smoke really kill you because it's Corona smoke as opposed to, you know, because you're going to get cancer from it? I don't know. So there's a lot of things about yourself you learn in a pandemic. And most of it is how much when you think you hate something or do something different, you really need to rethink that. And I mean, I'm not really one of those people that's depressed that often. So I don't know how many people go through that. But I can tell you the amount of times and the amount of different ways that I've convinced myself to not kill myself in the way that I was going to kill myself because it would be too messy for all the people else that would be leaving him behind was just amazing me. It wasn't because I didn't want to die or anything else, but like, you know, if you shoot yourself, who's got to clean up the blood? You know, if you hang yourself, somebody's got to wipe your ass. I mean, you know, there's just so many different things that you got to think about during the pandemic. And, you know, so the thought of somebody else having to wipe your ass because you hung yourself just isn't one of the ones you should think about. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave you on that happy note. Have a good night.
All right, put it together for John G, ladies and gentlemen. John G. Exciting. John's very lonely, so we all need to get John's Skype instant messenger, and we're gonna have a schedule where each of us are gonna call John at some point.
Please call me, please.
I think 20 minutes a day is all it takes
to
prevent Santa from killing himself. So I think we just all need to get together. Continuing, since I mentioned Santa, we're gonna continue with the only performer here who's young enough to still possibly believe in Santa. Everybody put your hands together, Madeline Cahill. Madeline Cahill.
What I do? So right before this, I actually got off this like small sort of governmental party politics meeting. I'm like trying to be part of more independent, more, you know, smaller efforts for politics. And it was really cool because I learned that I have absolutely no fucking idea what politics are. No idea. I need a civics class so badly. I thought the Senate and the Congress were just two words for the same thing. Like, I have no idea that they were different fucking things. Like the engine and the motor in a car, which now that I'm saying it, they might also be different things. No, I don't have a clue how a lot of stuff works. Yeah, they kept saying grassroots, which just makes me think of dirty hippie sex. So now I'm turned on and not listening to anybody, you know, getting nothing done. So I gotta come up with another word for that, for sure. Taxes. I don't know how taxes work. My dad called me the other day and he goes, Madeline, you gotta start paying your taxes. You're gonna go to jail. And I said, you dinosaur, they're taken out of my paycheck already. They're on my stub. Those are different taxes. In case you're wondering, you have to pay separate additional taxes. So I Googled taxes, basically just like, how much do I owe you guys? And they don't tell you. They're like, give it a guess. So you're like, all right, if I guess right, do I get a prize? Like, do I get like a discount, like 10% off on my taxes or something? And the response is an overwhelming no. If you guess wrong, you go to jail. Which seems like a messed up system, you know, that it feels a little bit of like a trap, low reward, high risk, which usually I'm into given my dating history. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna go to jail about it. I'm not gonna do taxes. That sounds crazy. That just doesn't sound like something I have interest in. So, yeah. So I'm over politics as a whole. I do hate old people, which not necessarily pertinent anything. Just thought I'd let you guys know. I went home recently. I'm from a town of old people, like blue hairs, like really old people, and they're the worst. They're the worst. They vote no on things like education. Who votes no on education? You know what I mean? And you ask them, why would you ever vote no on education? And when I went here, it was good enough for me. When you went here, it was a one-room schoolhouse, you racist bag of ass. What are you talking about? It had a dirt floor. Methuselah. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the? I got a good enough education. I just watched you spell the word garbage with a J. You spelled garbage. Okay? We're not having this conversation, you know? And at some point, there's just no quality of life. You know what I mean? They can't see, they can't hear. Huh? I said there's really just no need for Kevin Jonas, Grandma. Kevin Jonas? You know the Jonas Brothers? Are they Jews? Yeah, maybe. The hair. I don't know. What are you using that information for? What do you need that information for, you fucking creep? Go away. You don't need that. Disgusting. I think I should go. I actually didn't even have that strong of an aversion to old people until I started writing that bit, and it just kind of came out of me. It was like a newfound thing that I decided. Despite the fact that I hate old people, I am on Facebook. I love Facebook. I spend all my time. My favorite thing on Facebook are the alt-right pro-gun posts because they are bananas. They're fucking unhinged, and I love it. They'll write a whole 7-page Facebook post, otherwise known as a manifesto, that the topic sentence comes, "You're safer with me in the room." First of all, you're not a Navy SEAL. Fucking relax. Second of all, I have a very strong feeling that after 2 beers and about 30 minutes into an Eagles game, I might as well have Everlast tattooed across my forehead. There's no way I'm fucking safer with you in the room. Okay? You look at me and you see a human punching bag. I'm not interested in whatever you got fucking literally bananas. Somebody said the other day on Facebook, the opinions that I have are the opinions that you will have in 5 years. By then I'll have moved on to better opinions. That's a really lofty fucking statement. especially when your opinion is that slavery is necessary. Are you kidding me? That's going to be my opinion in 5 years. That's a rough couple of years that I have to go through for that to be the case. That's a crazy roundabout that I'm gonna have to maneuver through. Also, the confidence of that statement that you have to have, and to misspell the word "except" 3 separate times in the following paragraph. That's wild. That's a lot. That's a lot. Oof. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the last thing is just my, I'm 25 years old. I started comedy when I was about 20. And I started comedy because people used to tell me that I was an old soul, which I loved because I thought it meant that I was like a little bit smarter and like a little bit wiser, and I got it a little bit more. It turns out that's just an adult's way of letting a child know that they're going to be an alcoholic when they grow up. Which, right on the fucking money. Just absolutely right on there. Yeah, that is all I have. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
Cahill, clap for Madeline. Woo! You know what? 25. I'm just imagining Madeline at 35 and 40, and either like she's going to be magnificent, or pretty much you're going to be the drunk girl at the end of the bar.
I'm already the drunk girl at the end of the bar. That's a lateral movement for me. That is a lateral movement right there. I'll tell you what.
There we go. So you've already hit your all-time high. All right, we are going to continue with a very funny gentleman to bring to the stage right now. In my opinion, pound for pound, one of the best beards in all of comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, put them together. Stuart Gibble, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank everyone. Greetings from Brooklyn. I want to talk about something a little different tonight. We have a problem in this country, and her name is Karen. Although sometimes she goes by the name of Becky. She uses many different aliases, but her MO is always the same. She spots black men doing things like barbecuing in the park, listening to music, walking their dog, you know, gateway crimes. And then threatens to call the police. Now, this latest incident happened in New York City, Central Park. She was going by the name, we'll just call her Miss C, and she was accosted by a Mr. C, not related. Mr. C is black, and Miss C, of course, is the color of privilege. Anyway, Mr. C went to the park one early Saturday morning to look at birds. You heard me right, that was his hobby. During the week, Mr. C was an editor. In other words, he was a word nerd. And on weekends in his spare time, he was a bird nerd. What he did. And he was a little upset with Miss C because her dog was running around. It was off leash. That's against the rules. And he asked her to put the dog on the leash. And she threatened to call the police, which is just wrong. Because when you call the police on a black man, bad things happen. And this is mostly because their necks aren't very strong. And the cops are using too many steroids. But anyway, I mean, I would have not called the police on Mr. C. I would have called the nearest old age home. Because I think one of the residents would have escaped. You know, no one under the age of 75 goes birding. Especially at like 5 in the morning on a Saturday. It just doesn't happen. So we have a problem. We need to help Mr. C and the people like him. So we either need to end racism right now, or we need to get rid of all the birds. Some of you are going to miss the birds, but there is a plus side to getting rid of them. Clean energy, people. For years, conservatives have been saying we can't have windmills. because it will kill the birds. We get rid of the birds, we have green energy. We're all set for the future. Now there's a few birds we need to keep. Number one is the chicken, because it's delicious, no matter how you cook it. Number two, the eagle is our national symbol. Number three, the turkey. Thanksgiving, the calendars are printed, we can't get rid of it. Four, the fourth bird we need to keep is, of course, the parrot, because according to maritime law, every pirate needs one, so it gets to stay. Your Orioles, your Cardinals, your Blue Jays, your Hawks, your Falcons. We have the sports teams. We don't need a bird, okay? And if you think, well, there's too many birds, you are correct. There is a bird called the titmouse. You heard me right, titmouse. If we're gonna get birds, it should be called cool names, like ratbreast. A ratbreast is a bird that wears a leather jacket. A ratbreast has a motto of we don't shit on cars, we steal them. That's a bird we need here in Brooklyn. Get rid of the pigeons, give us a ratbreast. And also, please don't get me started on flightless birds. I mean, any animal that would choose to waddle over flying does not deserve to be on this planet. I mean, I pay hundreds of dollars to be put in an airline seat that's made for someone who's 4 foot tall just to fly. And these animals gave it up? Oh my God, talk to Darwin. So anyway, as soon as we get rid of all the birds, we're gonna need to find a new white ass hobby for Mr. C. So some of you are gonna have to teach him hacky sack or disc golf or ultimate frisbee, or perhaps you want to be one of those guys who stack rocks. You see him out in nature just piling the rocks, balancing each one, very zen, very stupid, I don't get it. That could be his new white ass hobby. And you know, fun fact, you know what they call those piles of rocks? They're called Karens. I don't make this stuff up. We could teach Mr. C to build Karens that won't call the police on. It sounds like a winner to me. Thank you very much, and thanks for being here.
Woo!
Go Brooklyn!
Woohoo! Stuart, ladies and gentlemen, clap for Stuart! Yay! Oh, birds are tasty. I will admit that. If we learned nothing else today, birds are tasty.
Right, you don't have to eat ass, you can eat birds. I got it. That's ridiculous.
All right, now I'm just grossed out. All right, we're going to continue with another very funny man. Put your hands together for James DeSalvo, ladies and gentlemen. James DeSalvo.
Thanks. Great. I've been having trouble sleeping lately. I'm tired, I'm grumpy, I'm old. So my friend tried to turn me into this ASMR. Have you heard that? Where these people talking to the microphone softly and crinkle papers and make noise. No, I'm a city boy. I need more than that. I need city sounds like, move your fucking car now. I will stab you in the face if you touch me again. I have a mocha latte for Karen. A mocha latte for Karen. It also works well for really bad news, like, we're sorry, but it's malignant. I'm pregnant with your brother's child. And of course, don't worry, it happens to a lot of guys. Speaking of happening to a lot of guys, you know, yeah, I'll be honest, I'm going to share because sharing is caring, and we're on the caring mood here, is that I've noticed I get older that the little soldier can come to attention, but doesn't want to say fully engaged in the battle sometimes. So I told my doctor, and she said, you know what, try some Cialis. All right, sure. You know what, guys? It works. Oh my God, it's great. I'm outside, I'm chiseling my name in the sidewalk. So I'm gonna get a slab of marbles, I'm chiseling my own sculpture. Fuck Michelangelo. My Venus de Milo will have 2 arms, all right? Come on. Disney films are also a great barometer to tell when parents had sex. You can go back, yeah, come on. I mean, if your name is Ariel, your parents banged around 1989. If you're a Belle, it was 91. If you're a Jasmine, 1992. Anna or Elsa, anywhere between Frozen 1 and Frozen 2, all right? That's just going at it. But it doesn't work for every name. You know, I mean, Bambi works if you want to raise a stripper. Maleficent if you maybe want to raise a drag queen. That works. But doesn't work for boys, though. There are no Pinocchios. No. Buzz or Woody, they'll get enough Woody when they're 14 years old. So, boys need cool geek names. Come on, Nicolas Cage named his kid Kal-El. Superman's birth name. I want kids just so I can name them cool names. There'd be little Bruce Wayne DeSalvo, and of course, Darth Vader DeSalvo. The oldest one, Emperor Palpatine, and the twins Lando and Calrissian. Oh, it'd be great. It wouldn't be all fun and games, though. You know, I'm sure there'd be conflict, you know. Clean your room and no Comic-Con for you. I don't care. The panel sucked this year anyway. Oh, Boba Fett DeSalvo, you open that door right now. You were frightening your sister Leia. I don't care. I wish you were like my friend Gandalf's parents. They're cool. Don't you blaspheme in this house. We are not a Lord of the Rings household. You will respect the Force. But also, parents get just way too excited over little accomplishments their kids do. Little Billy hit the ball. Yay! It's T-ball. Every kid hits the fucking ball, all right? Oh, Mommy, I poured cereal. Yes, you did. You're Mommy's little cook. Yeah, great. Get her an Iron Chef, all right? Put little Susie in front of a flaming wok. See how she does. Even worse, though, are those like overexcited parents are the ones who knock these little kids off the pedestal to make their little spawns look better. Yeah. Oh, my little one is finger painting, really? Well, my little Elsa's making hand turkeys. Well, my Jasmine is excelling in her ballet class. Really? Well, little Bambi is pole dancing at an adult level. It's been going on for generations. 1776. Ooh, my John Hancock was the first to sign the Declaration. Well, my little Tommy wrote it, and he forces slaves into sexual servitude. You go back to the Bible. Come on. My boy fed 5,000 people with just a few loaves and fishes. So there. Well, little Moses turned water into blood, put plagues upon Egypt, led the Jews out of slavery, and the Ten Commandments to the people. Well, Moses would have done that with the help of my boy's father. Oh, that deadbeat, why did he forsake him? Oh, forsake him? You put him in a river of crocodile-infested waters, missy. Oh, ladies, please, please. You're good, but you're not me. Oh, who are you? You know, Zeus, king of the gods. Nothing? No? Okay. I signed Hercules? No. Apollo? Persephone? Nothing? Okay. I predate both your religions? Okay? No? Oh. I used to come to Earth disguised as an animal to seduce women. Speaking of, is this thing happening or not? Thank you very much. We'll give back to your host, Jim Mendrinos.
Woohoo! James DeSalvo, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Give it go for James. There's not many people that talk about, you know, basically God-human bestiality. James might be the first comedian to cover that territory, which I think is just an awesome selling point. Our show has got one more performer, our headliner for this evening. And apparently, there's also a goat on the loose in this place. Shall we find the goat? The goat has disappeared. We have got a very, very funny young lady to bring to the stage. I just want a vacation in this young lady's brain for about a weekend. I really do think it's better than any of the LSD I've ever taken. Put your hands together. Help me welcome Miss Isabel Pierre. Isabel Pierre, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't think you'd like it. It's a curfew now, so you get stuck in really terrible places. Guys, as I was planning out my set, I saw a giant cockroach on my wall, you guys, which means that the devil's trying to make me quit comedy, I think. So I sprayed bleach everywhere, and now my bedroom smells like the inside of like a whites only laundry load, or better yet, the inside of a COVID patient who took the president's advice, you know?
Oh,
Trying to catch and kill a cockroach is like the closest thing I get to being a hunter in the wild, you know? And each time I'm really disappointed in my performance because like the fight or flight kicks in and like at the same time because like I need to fight because I can't leave because it's my room. But all I want to do is fucking leave. And then those things like they pick up speed and then they're like, well, they're like a fucking roach that picks up speed. And then like, why do they run around in a circle? You guys, why do they run? What are they looking for? Are they looking for a way out? Are they charging towards me? Then I got to find like the perfect shoe, like a good hard bottom shoe, except I don't have any quality shoes because I'm poor. Like looking for the Italian leather of roach smashing shoes, you know? And then if I do catch it, it's like, where does the splatter goes? What happens to the splatter? What's inside the splatter? Is someone snoring? It sounds like they're snoring. I think that was probably me the last time I had sex with my ex. I knew it was time to end it, you know? It's really demoralizing to be on top of someone and have them fall asleep, you guys. I was giving him my best stuff. I like to think I just like rocked him gently to sleep. It was just like a human rocking chair, just back and forth, back and forth. I guess that's the problem. You're supposed to go up and down, and anyway. You know, a good number of the RNC speakers are related to Trump and or married to a Trump. And I think that's the most I've ever identified with the president, because if you can only get people to an event who are most likely to end up in your will, then your show really isn't selling tickets, you know? I feel like Trump might be the first president to get impeached 2 terms in a row. Which means that he'll still be number 1 at something, you guys. He always wins. I'm starting to think he was like summoned, not elected. Every time I tell someone I'm an actor in Atlanta, they're like, oh my God, you should go work for Tyler Perry. Really? I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't even considered working for a writer, producer, director who owns his own giant fucking studio lot. That never crossed my mind. Thank you so much for the advice. I really appreciate it, you guys. You guys, please spare all your actor, musician, artist friends this advice. We know who the most famous people in the industry are, okay? And the same advice comes from people who like ignore me when I send out my crowdfunding emails. So I woke up the other day a little panicked, a little afraid. I feel like I'm running out of time. I feel like I'm getting old. And then I was like, I got all zen, I meditated, and I was like, you know what? Time is a construct. I have time. I have all the time in the world. And then I got on Twitter, and Macaulay Culkin tweeted that he turned 40 years old the other day. And Time was like, yeah, right, bitch, I'm ticking away. How did the Home Alone kid turn 40? That's like, oh. We're living in some warped universe, you guys. We're living in the timeline the time travelers abandoned because they know we're fucked. You know what I'm saying? They're going to reboot and start again on another timeline. I do not understand the economy either, Madeline. I'm no longer buying fancy coffee every day, and I am not the millionaire all the money gurus promised I would be at this point. I feel like whenever someone is talking about the economy, I just want to I want to get like Fox News with it, where I just want to throw out a bunch of like the same fourth grade level words, you know? Like someone asked me about the economy. Anybody ask me.
What's happening in the economy?
Gold standard. Someone else asked me. Come on, keep it coming, you guys. Keep it coming.
Now,
Backed by the dollar. Keep it coming, you guys.
what's the dollar at?
Mergers and acquisitions.
Stock market.
The board.
When you say index,
Bottom line. That's it. That's how you show that you're knowledgeable about stuff. These all you have to do is yell some buzzwords, and basically everyone believes that you know what you're talking about. You know. Oh gosh, you guys! I took an edible for the first time in about a year, and just as it was kicking in, a friend texts me and she's like, "Hey, I'm going to pick up some." She calls it leaf. She's like, "I'm going to pick up some leaf. You want some?" And I'm like, "It's party time. Yeah, let's do it." Then we agreed over text to an amount. We agreed over text to like the cash exchange, and like the edibles like really getting. It's really getting like deeper into my bloodstream or whatever the hell it is an edible does. And I convinced myself that I was actually speaking to an undercover police officer who apparently used words like girly and triple exclamation points in their text. Then I told myself that they were coming. Yeah, they were coming. So I had to hide all of the weed around the house. But I had to do it fast because I was being watched, you guys. I was being watched. And if I was going to be caught, what was I going to go to jail with? Because I was wearing a house dress at the time, you guys, and I was barefoot. And I was like, do I need a jail bag? What shoes do I need? Like, are there roaches in jail? Do I need to like find shoes with hard soles? And then I was like, one of those people who gets arrested and says something really colorful on the news, and people are gonna make memes out of me and like TikTok music, and then I was gonna be famous, and Tyler Perry was gonna hire me for his next movie. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys so much. That's it for me tonight.
Isabel! Clap for Isabel PR, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Well, you guys have all been awesome. To whoever was snoring, I hope you get some good sleep at some point.
For the record, it wasn't me.
Katz is saying it wasn't it. I can actually verify that because when the story started happening, I muted everybody and he was already muted. So unless he beat me to the trigger, it was not Katz. You guys have been awesome. We're going to try this again next week. And you guys I'll see on Sunday. But bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Good shot.
Good job, people.